Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and today our guest is Bernadette O'Hanlon and we're going to be discussing Mary, Queen of Peace's latest messages from Medjugorje on August the 25th, 2025 and also September the 25th, 2025. And Bernadette will be sharing a little bit about her own spiritual journey through life. Welcome to the program, Bernadette.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's lovely to have you here. Look, we'll start with Mary's message and then you can just say where it leads you when I ask you to talk about it, okay? So we'll start with, Dear children, this is August the 25th, 2025. Mary, Queen of Peace, has this message for everyone. Dear children, my little children, my beloved ones, you are chosen. Because you have responded, you have put into practice my instructions and love God above all else. Therefore, little children, pray with all your heart that my words may be realized. Fast, sacrifice yourselves, love out of love for God who created you, and be, little children, my extended hands to the world that has not come to know the God of love. Thank you for having responded to my call. So I'll just read this one out for you and see what your thoughts are. We'll start with, Dear children, my little ones. My little children, my beloved ones, you are chosen because you have responded. You have put into practice my instructions and love God above all else. So it's a really positive one. It's like she's saying, you've responded. You're doing there's more people doing the job, it sounds. Yeah.
Well, I must say I haven't done a good job with Our Lady. I went to boarding school when I was 4.5 and the nuns reminded me of Our Lady and I didn't like Our Lady. But about 8 weeks ago, I always sit next to a little Irish lady at church at Box Hill and she gives me prayers. 8 weeks ago, Paul fell and broke one of his vertebrae and had to be home for 4 weeks on his back. And so she gave me a little prayer to Our Lady. And I thought, after looking after my husband for a few weeks, I thought, why not, at this age of my life, start to pray to Our Lady? So it's a little prayer for protection for elderly people. And I said it day and night. So it was 2 weeks after that Paul was in the car waiting for me to come out from church, sound asleep. And when I put my hand on the door handle, he woke up and he started up the car. He reached out his hand to open the door for me, but instead of which he put his hand on the reverse button. And the car went up about this high into the sky and went over the curb onto the pavement. And so did I.
Oh, wow.
So I'm up in the air. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to have to fall and there's nothing.
So were you outside the car when this happened?
Yes.
So he hit you, did he, at the back of the car?
His car nearly got to the fence, but he saved his precious car. But he came around the back of the car and he said to me, I saw what happened to you. He said, I'm a doctor, you must have broken something. I said, no, Paul. I said, I landed on a mattress. And he pointed down and he said, there is no mattress under you. And I said, Paul, I landed on a mattress. He said, I am a doctor. He said, you're 84. He said, I know you've hurt yourself badly. And he said, I can't lift you up. So he said there were 2 girls watching and they came over and they got me up because there's nothing on the footpath really to get yourself up on.
Yeah. And
I got into the car. I was fine. And all the way home, he kept saying, by now something must have shown. You must have broken something. At the end of the day, he came to me and he said, at least you must have some sort of a bruise. And I said, no bruise, Paul. So now I've got very good devotion to Our Lady. I do her prayers. I've had about 200 of the little prayers copied. And a friend of mine has put a beautiful picture of Our Lady on the front. And to my surprise, last Saturday night, another lady came. She'd been saying it for about a week. And she said, I've got a better story with this little prayer, Bernadette. She said, I fell down. It's a sort of a cement hole where the water goes down. And she said, I went down face first. And she said, somebody held me and I didn't fall on, even though I was down a few inches from the concrete, somebody held me up and pulled me up.
Wow.
And so many people are starting to realise that Mary is an intercessor and she can get God's power to work in the most dangerous places of our lives. So I'm very, very impressed. I've got a huge picture of Mary in our bedroom. So now I'm really going over to her every night and placing all my children in her care.
Yeah, beautiful.
So,
All right, so I'll read the next part of the sentence. Our lady says, therefore, little children, pray with all your heart that my words may be realised. So she wants people to start realising, I think, that she is appearing in Medjugorje. She's been appearing every day since June the 24th, 1981, and still is today, and changing lives all over the entire earth from every country. People are coming there from every country. Yes. Pilgrimages, some are walking for miles and miles to get there, and lives have changed and people have given their hearts to Jesus, and it's quite a huge thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we went there in the early days and there was hardly anyone going. That was about 40 years ago.
Oh, what year did you go?
I can't remember. Yeah. But, so we were given a home to live in. And we got next to the cemetery. So, and it was pretty bad. It really was. You had to, if you're on the toilet, you had to put your feet into the shower. So there was no motels or anything to sleep.
Oh, yeah, the very beginning.
And we had a group of people that stayed with us in the house. Yeah. And we had a dog. And one night the dog was missing. And we were all sitting around the table and we had what looked like meat on the table. And someone said, have you seen the dog lately? The meals were really bad. But we had to put up with all that in those days. And
I doubt they would have killed the dog.
No, but we were just joking. Yeah. We really had a really nice group of people. Yeah. But anyway, when we first got down to the church, Paul went in and there was such a crowd in the holy room where you bought all the rosaries. He stole a pair of rosary beads he said, I'll put some money into the collection. Oh. The rosary beads turned into gold. Yeah. And I didn't, mine didn't. And when we were out with the sun out one day, the sun came down to him and went back again. Nothing happened to me. So I left Medjugorje thinking I was a really bad sinner. We went to Assisi though, and I went to see Claire's convent, and my rosy beads turned gold there. And when I was outside, the sun came down and came back again. So God knew my devotion to St. Clair was great.
We'll have to go to break now, but when we get back, you're going to have to elaborate on what you were talking about so the viewers understand about the gold and the sun coming down. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Bernadette O'Hanlon, who is a Catholic lady, and we're talking about Mary's messages from Medjugorje and her spiritual life. Welcome back to the program, Bernadette.
Thank you.
And before the break, you were mentioning the sun. You saw the sun go down and come up again, and the rosaries going gold. Could you please explain to the viewers what you actually meant by that? Because some people would just say, well, the sun also always rises and goes down again.
Well, the sun was high in the sky and it came down in front of us.
In that moment. Yeah.
And then went back up to its position in the sky. And the rosary beads that I was holding, I looked down because I was bad-tempered because my husband's had gone gold, and I looked to see that mine had turned gold as well.
Yeah, I remember when I was on the pilgrimage to Medjugorje, and everybody was, this is in 1991, I think, and everybody on the plane was saying, oh, my rosary beads are going gold. And we weren't even there yet. We were on the way. I'm like, well, how come mine haven't? How come mine haven't? And this lady next to me, she goes, you've got to pray more. You've got to pray more. I had to pray more, and then mine went gold. And I thought, all right. So I started praying more and praying more, and then mine went gold. And then this and that. And like I had so many rosary beads going gold, and I'm like, this is great. This is beautiful. Really beautiful. And then the sun, and that's right, you saw the sun go down and then come up again.
Coming down at you, yeah.
Okay, that's so beautiful. All right, so we'll continue with Mary's message. Our Lady said, therefore, little children, pray with all your heart that my words may be realised. so that people actually follow her words and do as she's asking. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on that? I'm not sure if we read that before the break, but we could still elaborate if you wanted to say anything on it.
I'm trying to pray from my heart instead of just the way I used to pray, and that's what Our Lady at Medjugorje is saying. We should pray from our heart. And it's something we're not taught when we're at school. We don't get. You don't see people staying behind a church just in adoration, and you certainly don't see it in homes anymore. We used to say the rosary at night. The family that prays together stays together. We don't have that anymore. People are too busy watching their TV shows or on their telephones. And so I think Our Lady would like to gather us all in again and expect us to really get the graces from her that she can get from our Saviour Jesus Christ, because she's got a great power of influence there with her son.
And she's leading us to Jesus.
Yes.
That's her role, is leading us to Jesus. And I was thinking, I've had, since I've been very involved with Medjugorje and following the messages, I've never actually dreamt of Our Lady, but I've dreamt of Jesus 3 times. And I think this is interesting, because I'm always reading Mary's messages. I mean, I'm going to Mass and I'm praying to Jesus, but I actually had the dreams of Jesus. And the most recent dream I had was when I was in in Darwin, when I was visiting my brother, and I had a dream we were like at some sort of concert. It was almost like a Woodstock concert, but it was just everyone was on the grass and it was all just beautiful and out in the open. And then Jesus was sitting next to me, and I started talking to him and he started talking to me, and then I had to go, and he said, look, I'll walk you back to your place, but then I've got to come back and be with these people because they really need me. And I'm not sure who the people were. And so he took me back, and I thought that was just felt real, really beautiful. And he had brown. He had these colours on. That's why I'm sort of wearing these colours today. Okay. But anyway, we'll keep going with the messages.
All right.
The message, Our Lady said, fast, sacrifice yourselves, love out of love for God who created you. I'll just leave it at that for the moment. So fast, sacrifice yourselves, love out of love for God who created you. So the power of fasting and sacrificing ourselves is not really promoted on mainstream media or TV or anything, is it?
But if you're married, you do it all the time.
Yeah, every day.
And it's very important because it's a sacrament, and there's no marriage in heaven. So we've obviously got to do what we can with the sacrament down here. But there's a lot of sacrifice in marriage. There really is.
But there is a beautiful little loophole, I guess, if you look at it that way. If you see Jesus in people, it does give you the strength to keep going, to keep doing all these things. If you actually love and see, if you know Jesus is in you and Jesus is in everyone else. Well,
I think the best thing I've ever learned is not to say anything, just to let it all go, and that way you don't have. And every night, my mother, I never remember anything my mother said because I was never there. But one thing she did say, at the end of the day, you forgive everybody that's hurt you. And I think every night I walk down that passageway to his bedroom and I make some excuse to go down and give him a hug and end the day with forgiveness, because it's what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
It's it's a hard call being married now for 62 years.
Wow, it's beautiful.
And it's just as hard for him with me. And when I think of all the things I've done to him, oh my gosh. I used to sit at the surgery with the computer in front of me. When I was bored, I'd think, don't really want to live in that place anymore. So I'd look up on real estate and I'd find another place, and then I'd work on him. And I'd say, now, Paul, we're going to move from here to there. And the poor guy, he had no choice because I was boss at that stage. And, then before long, and maybe 2 years on from that, I'd be sitting there again and I'd do this again. And I was just as bad with cars. I remember going into the middle of the city one day and I saw a white BMW. And I thought, gee, that's nice. So I came home to Paul and I said, today I went into the city and I bought a BMW. He said, okay. I know. So he's had to put up with a lot from me. But see, I had 7 children in 8 years.
Wow.
And then when they went to school, I had nothing apart from going to church every morning. I had nothing else to do. So I did all these things. And now, later in life, God's bringing them all back in front of me. I went to a priest to confession, Father Ward. He's like Padre Pio.
All right. Could we continue with this when we get back? We've got to go to a break now,
Okay.
but we'll leave you with Father Ward. We'll
Yep.
continue with Father Ward when we get back. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and we're here with Bernadette O'Hanlon and we're talking about Mary's messages from Medjugorje and the latest one from August the 25th, 2025, and we'll be doing September 1 in the next program. Welcome back to the program,
Thank
Bernadette.
you.
But before the break, you were just about to start telling us this experience where you went to see Father Ward. What were you going to say?
Father Ward and two other priests come once a month to hear confessions. We have a healing mass. So I thought, well, it's about time I went to confession. And so he's a bit like Padre Pio. So I finished what I thought were my sins. And as I'm standing up to leave, he said, Bernadette, what about this? And what about that? And I was like, how did you know that? So after the confession, I said, Father Ward, I'm never coming back to confession to you again. And so that was fine. But one night I had to, because I had the collection from the night and he had no one in confession and I couldn't go to the other priest. So I stood at the confessional door and I said, Father, I can't come in, but you'll have to hear my confessions from the door. He said, Bernadette, I have never been asked to hear confessions like this. He said, all right, because I knew if I went in, he'd be able to look into my soul and tell me things I didn't want to know. So he came out from the confession. He said, you are never to do that again, Bernadette. But so the next month I went to Father Gift, who's from Africa. And Father Gift was fine for the first part of the confession. And then he said, I need to tell you something. And I'll never forget it. He said, you are in danger of becoming very self-righteous. He said, I want you to watch. He said, you're doing a lot of things for God and there is a great danger in that. So now I don't go to Father Gift as well. But there is a great feeling of release and peace after you go out of confession and you know that Jesus has forgiven you. It's not the priest. We don't go to the priest. We go to Jesus in the confessional. So most priests would let you know that, but some people forget that it's actually not them. It's Jesus who died on the cross to forgive our sins. Yeah. And we need to kneel down and say, thank you to Jesus for having done that. Yeah, that's a really big thing in Medjugorje. A lot of the priests comment on how many people really do a good confession in Medjugorje, that they really, like some people haven't gone for years and years, and then all of a sudden they just let go of so much and they become free of it and then really give their lives to God, really genuinely, start to focus on God and appreciate the sacrament too. For
exactly.
Because otherwise, you've got penalties to pay in purgatory. Yeah. So, that's not a nice thing to have to look forward to.
It's better to be clear and clean.
And have,
All right, so we'll continue. Our Lady said, so fast, sacrifice yourselves, love out of love for God who created you, and be, little children, my extended hands to this world that has not come to know the God of love. That's a huge one, really, isn't it? To be her extended hands to this world that has not come to know the God of love.
Okay, well, because I've had a change of heart lately, I've had to do a lot more things and I'm hoping that Our Lady's helping me. But I was sitting next to a little boy in church and I had my rosary beads and I had my holy pictures, and every day he was pinching one more holy picture, one more medal from my rosary beads. And I sat there and thought, the other children who are coming in for class masses, they don't have any of the rosary beads and the medals and the holy pictures. So I talked to a friend of mine and we got this the whole rosary bead, the five, the mysteries of the rosary, the sorrowful, joyful, and the glorious mysteries, all put into a, and I got 20,000 of them printed, and I decided that no one was even learning the Our Father at that school, I don't think. So we went to a lot of the Catholic schools. We went along the peninsula and went to the parishes, and we had so much fun. And invariably the priest would come out, because it'd be after Sunday Mass, and he'd say, "What do you want?" And we'd say, "We want to give you a box of these to give to the school children." And he'd say, "I'm not interested. What do you want me to pay, you know?" And so then he'd have a look at it and he'd say, "How many can you give me?" And so
what made him change his mind?
You should see the beautiful thing that John did for me. It's just beautiful.
John Canavan?
Yeah. So we did parishes and we did school. Even Mandeville Hall sent one of their teachers. I sent letters to all the Catholic schools to say, if you'd like to come to the surgery and pick up these little prayer books for the children. And they came. They really did.
Beautiful.
So then I thought about that afterwards, and I think, I haven't got much longer to live, so I thought,
Don't say that.
Yeah, but the 84. So the one prayer book I do with all the novenas is the Pieta novena, with all the Catholic novenas in it. And because I'm getting old, I thought, it's getting harder to read it as I get older. So I asked John, could you do a printout of the novena book in large prints for older people? So John did about 300 of them.
Yeah, wow.
And we're going into the nursing homes.
Gee, oh, that's beautiful.
And we're giving them to
done.
the patients. And
that's so lovely.
I hand them out at church, and they are so popular. They so are. So, yeah, so I'm trying to, because of all my past life and the things I haven't done, I'm trying to make up for my sins by helping as many people as I can. But
that's beautiful. It's beautiful to be that example and give something to others that they can treasure and that can help them on their spiritual journey too.
Well, yeah, it's my grandchildren are a bit upset because they're not getting as much money from me, but
because it's going into all these booklets and things.
Yeah, that's true. So, but
don't think of I don't know. I think we can start thinking for it to be on earth as it is in heaven, for heaven to come down to earth. Then nobody has to die. We all can live forever. And if it's on earth as it is in heaven, as it says in the Our Father, if we can start praying for that now, then this earth will be renewed and it will be just so beautiful. And it will be on earth as it is in heaven. But we have to go to a break. We've finished the show. Would you like to come back on the next show we're going to do?
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful. You're watching Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Bernadette O'Hanlon. And let us all pray for it to be on earth as it is in heaven right now. Bye for now.